10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Hello everybody, and with that we're into our second match of the day. We've got EWolves versus Digital Chaos, and as we talked about, this is kind of the championship match. I'm Llama Down Under, joined by Moppax. Just off, before you see anything, who's taking it, Moppax? Call it.
I gotta say DC.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with stand-ins?
Even with stand-ins, I don't know. I mean, EWolves, I believe. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like they're on a 20-game win streak.
Okay, so two things. EWolves has actually played other smaller tournaments in between. DC hasn't been playing much because, of course, 1437 was coaching secret. So I think that's a lot of factors. But you're not wrong. DC does generally beat EWolves.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking though like MLES, which had Team Freedom was in that, Evernova was in that, WePlay League, which has everyone in it. Obviously, that was
I would not put
Enemy.
Freedom and Evernova, as much as I like both of those teams as players, in the same league as DC.
I mean, but we're not talking JDL here. No, I'm talking about EWolves. I mean, I'm just saying. And
no, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I think these are easier teams than DC will be for EWolves.
I mean, it's Pro Dota Cup too. I'm just saying, it's a crazy amount of games. That's still insane. Like 20 in a row of quote-unquote officials, I guess, ticketed matches.
Yeah. Either way, they're doing very well. They're on a streak, and we've got a game on our hands. Phoenix gonna be banned out. Looks like EWolves watched the previous game, and also getting rid of the Earth Spirit, of course, while Marana, because M-God is amazing on that hero, and then Beastmaster, the other ban out.
Yeah, they love snagging that up in the first phase, so I'm okay with getting rid of that. Don't have to deal with that. Don't worry about any sort of like an OD. Like, they don't even ban the OD. They're just like, all right, as long as they don't have like the Marana and no easy setups. Of course, he doesn't even need setups. He just, wanders around and chucks that thing out. But in DC, that's a pretty strong opener. And Nature's Prophet can have the Invoker, so obviously most likely going to be Bulbous Hero in the off lane, and then the Invoker in the mid for Resolution. I really don't get why people aren't banning this, honestly.
Yeah, I think maybe some people deciding that with the small nerfs, Invoker's not so scary, but Resolution has an insane amount of experience on this hero and an insane win rate this patch. Like, he clearly knows what to do. DC gonna get rid of the Ember Spirit, maybe just saying they had a bit of trouble with it last game or don't want to deal up with the Nature's Prophet creeps, giving them some leave. For EWolves here, what do you think is a good matchup versus Resolution's Invoker in mid?
I mean, one would, I think, just kind of look towards, honestly, just the OD would be kind of the dream. I mean, it's a pretty strong laner. It might not necessarily, like, destroy or beat the Invoker, but it's really good up against the Forge Spirits. You don't have to worry too much just because you can kind of beat them down using the Q, obviously. Helps it with rotations. One single Astral Imprisonment can help bust them all down. And I think it is still, a favorable matchup for the OD, so I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't ban it out here for DC, but at the same time, I understand getting rid of like some Smash heroes, right? Like, he's kind of one of their top tier players, so if they want to ban something out there. But I guess he'll just be on the Enchantress offlane more than likely.
Now they do this sneakily sometimes. Sometimes EWolves purposely pick the Enchantress early, and it's actually a support, not Smash's offlane Enchantress that does so well. And I think DC have decided that's what they're more worried about, because they're getting rid of cores.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's more likely that they'd run it that way unless they got kind of like forced into it. But it's always a valuable tool to have, right? Maybe they can go into something like the Faceless Void still left, the Tidehunter's there, and having like Faceless Void plus Enchantress, that kind of turns her from that 4 role into something a lot more valuable just because of the damage that she can put out from a distance. And then it still allows you to go into things like the OD that can kind of, dump everything inside and just crush. But they're in a pretty solid spot right here. Like, you could ban out maybe a more aggressive roamer coming in. Like, let's say you want to ban a bounty hunter right now and then pick the OD. Looks good.
I do wonder, a lot of teams, OD, we've seen recently in the Americas, the OD maybe not doing as well as one would expect. Sure, if you have an easy setup like the Faceless Void, you're generally going to get a lot of Astral Imprisonment. Astral Imprisontment's good off, but also the, what is it called? The Q. Forgot the name of it for a second there. But you're going to get your int stolen up. The orb, thank you. But We have also seen a lot of teams kind of figure out how to deal with it and make sure that they're just constantly picking off the OD. A lot of ODs sitting very low on the net worth charts as the game's progressing into that mid game.
Yeah, well, for now they'll just get rid of the gyro, so that would be pretty solid, right? You get a little bit of wombo combo and just tornado into call down or any sort of combination, just another hero that can help with the push. And some solid magic bursts up against some sort of an offlane enchantress. So that seems to be their main concern, right? Getting rid of the Ursa, get rid of the gyro. And you still have some of those options open. The support Oracle, obviously very popular. Previously, it was things like kind of the support Bane, but Venge is still in the pool. She does fairly well against the Enchantress. And wow, they are just going to go straight for that Tiny.
Radiant team pick.
All right. Is this mid then?
Yeah, I mean, they've played it in mid. They've also played it in the safe lane. The CM comes out for DC, and now this is a controversial hero. This is not a hero that a lot of people think is good. I'm excited to see her because I like seeing some CM, but obviously, are we still gonna see some setup for that freezing field? Is it just gonna be hopefully her buffing up the Invoker with that aura? Do you try to make her, you know, farm the jungle mostly, not have too much lane presence? Lich coming out.
Yeah, this is a game they've done before, but it's mostly just for the early rotation of the Enchantress, just freeze the creep. Pretty big advantage on that, and then yeah, helping out with the big AoE is also pretty huge. Like a lot of people consider freezing field to be one of the more underrated ones, and well, there's one way to set it up. Just grab the Enigma. Okay, this is looking pretty easy for them, but it looks like EWolves actually just did this in their very last game. They ran a Beastmaster Lich, they ran a Tiny Lich. That time it was combined up with, I'm gonna guess, the Earthshaker kind of replacing the Tusk here in terms of like longer range initiation, and then it was the offlane Beastmaster rather than the Enchantress. But it's interesting that you see this when Io's still there, right?
I mean, Io is a hero that a lot of teams have just not been having a success with that previously would. And as you said, maybe they can still fit an Io in here, but I'm not quite sure how you do when you already have Tusk, Lich, and Enchantress on the board.
I think they're gonna dual lane mid and just like completely destroy this Invoker. This is the play.
Lich plus Tiny mid is something, or not Tiny, but Lich plus anyone mid, a melee hero generally, is something we've been seeing more and more of in the America scene. A couple different teams picking it up. Tide gonna be the one banned out there by DC. Does not want it to be a big wombo combo. That would be really funky laning then. If they did manage to pick up a Tide, but I guess that's what DC's afraid of.
I think it's that's kind of what ends up happening though, right? When you have this Tiny Lich in the mid lane, is that you kind of need wonky side lanes. Because you have to kind of chuck somebody almost to the wayside just because it kind of screws up the equilibrium of like support here and off-lane Enchantress, obviously. Maybe she's going to be needing someone to go with her. Then you end up with like a Tusk +1 in the top lane or something. Or rather, I should say like Enchantress alone. I don't know. I feel like a Tide would have been a good choice to head up into the solo safe lane and then the Enchantress plus Tusk aggressively down into whoever they're going to pick up for a core here. Because AY, traditionally, he did always like those more, I should say, like heavier farmers, like the Morphlings, like the Spectres. That kind of was his thing.
Yeah, it's been a while, right, since he's played carry. So, and again, I'm assuming he's going to play carry again here, but maybe they'll switch it up again. You know, Aoi is also a well-known Enigma player. That's the other thing I wanted to mention here. Elite Wolves here, normally when someone picks up an Enigma, you're thinking, oh, you can punish that, either have stronger laners than them and do well. But Nature's Prophet, a hero that could easily go do that hard camp or just half of the jungle while Enigma does the other, can usually get something out of lane. The Invoker shouldn't have an easy time in mid, but we're already expecting them to duel it, so you're really adding more pressure there. How are you punishing this Enigma?
Probably... I don't know. I feel like you have to get in there, I would say, before the blink comes out for Slider. Obviously, it's probably going to take a little bit of a ways there, and maybe an Enchantress rotation in, but you have to imagine that she's actually going to be punishing whoever like the safe lane farmer is for Aoi here. So honestly, I don't know if you're going to be able to punish him, really. And they don't have anything that pierces BKB, too.
Ooh.
So, whoa, now you really can't punish him, because he's going to be farming up like a madman in the jungle.
It will be MSS on that Enigma. I really like this draft coming out of DC, and we've been seeing a lot of success out of this jungling. It's really hard to punish right now, and it's really hard to punish offlaners as well. Normally, jungling should make some of your lanes weaker, but of course, with the changes to a camp being over there near the jungles, especially with a hero like Nature's Prophet, worst case scenario, he can just cliff.
I gotta say, if you had to ask me, what do you think about a Drow here? I would have probably ripped it to shreds and been like, I don't think that's gonna work at all. They've already got the Tusk, who is kind of like a hero I'd almost want to shoehorn in to help deal with a Drow that gets your whole team right on top to stop the aura. They have the Slider who's going to be picking up an early blink. They have the Tiny that can just blink ahead and, you know, obviously do his wombo combo, going to be blowing up any drow for the first 30 minutes of the game. It's kind of unusual. I don't feel like they have the defensive heroes to really prevent that from even happening.
Yeah, I mean, this is some terrifying stuff out of DC. We'll have to see how the lanes end up going for them, obviously. If they do manage to find a way to destroy Resolution in this mid lane with a dual mid, it'll be something other teams will want to replicate. Also, this Slaughter set is ridiculous. He looks like he's doomed. But in other news, they have smoked up on EWolves, 4 of them. And then, 1437, he's gonna see them all. Will he be able to get away? There's the toss. There should be a Slithering Crush following it up. And 1437 will be our first blood. One more auto attack. Smash gonna get that one. And thinking about chasing down MSS, has used that slow. Another toss in. There should be another Slithering Crush. We just murdering heroes in the jungle for funsies. MSS going down. There's the snowball. Well, that is America's Dota for you.
This is kind of that ideal start that you're looking at. It reminds me of like the Centaur Tiny lane, kind of chucking that Slithering Crush up there in the air thanks to the Slider. And getting nice and aggressive, follow-up snowball. They got it all, man. I'm so scared for this drow right now. I'm really not feeling that pick, I gotta say.
You're just not digging that?
No.
Well, we'll see if they manage to execute it. There will be... Oh, do they get both bounty runes as well? Oh, EWolves off to a fantastic start.
All right. I don't know. These Sunstrikes gotta like land on Smash every single fight, because AUI ain't helping for that.
Yeah, now, talking on Sunstrikes, other than Sprout, do we have easy setup for Sunstrikes? Because Resolution may just need to be godlike with those.
Yeah, I mean, Frostbite's, I guess, kind of okay if you're going to be leveling it, but... yeah, it's alright. It's not too bad. You get the same amount of Magic Nuke anyway, so... In fact, you actually get more Magic Nuke, so I suppose you might argue for that. Just, that plus Sunstrike could help bring down the Enchantress, because they don't have much else to deal with her.
Already, Van just casually harassing with that Avalanche, just being a real joke in that mid lane. We'll come checking back with the Resolution and how he's going. They're running a duel up against the Drow and CM. This bottom lane, pretty interesting. Smash, very well known for this Enchantress by this point. How do you think this one's gonna go?
Pretty good. Nice snowball. He doesn't get inside though.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to kill 1437 yet. But of course, Smash making it hard for them to hit him.
Look how little they expend for that, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially nothing. I mean, honestly, I think Smash should probably look towards getting a creep. I like how they've blocked off this camp intentionally, so the Enchantress can't get anything, plus it helps stop the pull. So that's nice, but they should have a good time. Like, it's gonna be really hard for the CM to deal with this, because you want to be putting points into your aura, obviously.
Oh. Speaking of dealing with things, this time Ishard's blocking her out. I think 1437 may go down again. Smash needs another auto attack after this one. Can he get it? She's salving up, meaning that they're gonna need some more damage. The auto attack's not quite enough, and M-God with no points, or no more mana left for Ice Shards. Although this drought, all he has is auto attacks. Can he find it? Nope, going back to farming. Well, Smash trading some hits. Oh, this bottom lane is murder.
4037 just like so greedy here. He's even gonna farm up this camp with his W first. It's like, I don't want to go home yet.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised he didn't just go for the suicide there. But as you said, you want, if you get 28 gold, yeah, you buy up a smoke. Up top though, it does look like, I'm a little bit surprised by this. EWolves bringing some harassment to Bulba, although Bulba has way more lost hits. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Although, if he's not careful here, can EWolves get the auto attacks? He doesn't have any points in that bash, but he gets the kill. What is going on?
Slider is one of the better heroes for dealing with Nature's Prophet, honestly. Pretty underrated. Resolution as well. Mid lane, toss.
Oh
Nice.
no, he eats a fairy fire, but it's not enough. 0 to 4 start for EWolves, and as we talked about, this game is super important.
Yeah, but well, back to Slider, like you've seen some people go for the Spectre because you can dagger over both the Treants as well as the Sprout. That's kind of been a pretty popular thing up against them, but it's the same idea here, right? You just slither through the Treants. Like Nature's Prophets are very reliant on them body blocking to be survivable in the offlane.
Yeah, obviously the changes to Sprint helping out a lot there. So, gonna be having a much better time. We didn't talk about mid, other than us seeing the kill. The CS, oh goodness, Resolution sitting at 3-2.
It's just so hard, right? Like, not only does Van obviously have a massive right click coming out, so it makes it easier for him to deny. Every single time you come forward, you're essentially guaranteed that the Frost Blast is coming out, and he's denying creeps. Like,
Yeah,
this is rough.
I think they found a good way of dealing with Resolution's Invoker, at least in the early game. We'll see how well this transitions. So when it comes to these team fights, it's looking like we've got the obvious Tiny can toss the slaughter on people, but when you got an Enigma on the board, this could really change things up. I'm expecting MSS to go mech though, before he goes anything like a Blink.
Yeah, and the Enigma's a very important aspect of this, right? Like, he's one of the major reasons why Resolution is behind, because they're sacking Resolution, yes, but it definitely guarantees there's no pressure on him right now because of the way they're laning this, so, you know, losing out on mid, gaining on the Enigma, it definitely puts some pressure there on MSS, and Bubba, he's okay.
I do wonder if it's the right choice, sacking Resolution, since he's normally such a high-impact player, but of course we've all seen what a farmed Enigma can do. On top, it looks like, nope, just some casual harass. Will MGod be able to find something on Resolution in this mid? He's going to be completely scouted by a ward, so Resolution should be just fine. And actually, nice ward that he puts down. Okay.
Yeah, that should be spotted out too, so they have a general idea where some of the vision is now committed to as well. Now Smash is just wandering on over. This W, still only level 1, is Phoeben having to leave the lane so early definitely did hurt him.
I'm a little bit surprised that Smash hasn't actually taken some time to rotate. Oh, never mind. He got Chain Lightning, so he'll be a pain now. But I was a little bit surprised he didn't rotate up to this hard camp, maybe try to find a better creep. He may have just decided that it was better if he gets experience, and yeah, Chain Lightning creep will do some decent pain onto Aoi, who's sitting down here, 12 last hits. It's not awful, but Smash has 23 when he's up against 2 of them most of the time.
Yeah, he's all... Oh.
Yeah, I think MGod gonna go down here. Goodbye to Mystico. So he will fall, but still, as we talked about, both Smash and this Slaughter farming up a Storm. And the Tiny, to be honest, right?
Yeah, he's got a... must have thought he was safe there for so long, but just under the ward the entire time before MSF was like, okay, I can kill him now. Let's go. And, but AUI, he's gone for like the not super greedy build. He's got the Gust. He's got the Frost Arrows. It's not this whole typical, you know, like not dumping too many points in the stats or anything like that. So the kill potential is there on Smash, but well, we'll see. We'll see if they can actually get something done here. I'm not too sold, obviously, on this Crystal Maiden in terms of helping that out. Man, I just can't get over how much pressure's on MSS. He really needs to do like major work this game.
It's additionally scary because with Drow as a carry, as opposed to Spectre like last game, Aoi, I mean, Drow peaks. We've all seen it before. She's not one of the heroes who goes into the super late. She's going to buff up everybody on this team. But, of course, if they don't take advantage of being buffed up for those mid-game team fights, EWolves with a Tiny, with an Enchantress, I'm much more comfortable with them going late.
Yeah, especially because of how well it's going right now for the Tiny. The big push, essentially, I assume it will come out here once the mech is making its way up onto MSS. Then the drums phase will be done for Bulba. It's kind of your, you know, typical builds right now. Ooh, they're smoking up mid. They pushed out the wave, ready to go.
Threw it out, I think, trying to make sure, as you talked about, that MSS, the one kind of flaw in their plans, will be going down. Will they be able to find him, though? Smash just playing with his Eidolons. They know where he is, and here it comes. Toss Avalanche, gonna go out. MSS brought down. Will they find 1437? Nope, it's nighttime. But now they're taking a look for Aoi. They may just end up pushing this down. 4 of them all in this bottom lane. Resolution trying to take the chance in mid to get some last hits, and I think they'll end up sending them back. Oh no! Aoi has been found out. Smash already has impetus. They don't have any way to stop this. MGod not going to be able to get there soon enough. And that should be it for aggression, but Aoi forced to TP back to well and up in top. Never mind, he was just being a jerk. It's not important.
At any moment, though, it can certainly change. You kind of said it before, it's a little bit surprising he doesn't go for the bash. It's definitely a personal thing. Some people find it's really good in a matchup where you think you're going to be right-clicking them a lot simply because, you know, you can use the pseudo-random and go for some procs on the hero, but Evo seems content right now, just with more points in the sprint are understandable.
Yeah. I'm also a little bit surprised. Bulba, he started to pick up his farm. That's what I was expecting. And so that's another thing that's going well for DC. We've seen it time and time again. Farmed Nature's Prophet gets a lot of work done, and maybe we'll make the space that both MSS and Aoi, and Resolution at this point, desperately need.
Yeah, to start, you can kind of see how Evo was like able to trade and everything goes fine, but like to none of his own fault, AUI does eventually get levels, so makes it just a wee bit harder for him to stay in that lane. And I'm loving this. Do you see what Evo's picking up first? This is the build right here. We're going armlet. We're getting aggressive.
Oh yeah.
We're going fighting Dota.
Really interesting that he decides, especially as you mentioned, if they're fighting, that over the Blink Dagger.
I think it's just Van's gonna rush it.
Okay. And also, you can just hope your Tiny tosses you and doesn't accidentally toss the Enchantress or someone who would be disastrous. Either way, it looks like they may be trying to give some setup on Smash. 1437 could just be leeching, but they have 3 down here. Black Hole at the ready. That's one way to deal with an Enchantress. Where's the approach?
Yeah, they've got the headdress too, so they can start to look into this push. I'd like to see Smash. I mean, obviously they've been just consistently blocking up this camp. They're just like, no, actually, is that? I don't think that blocks right there. So, oh, this sentry does though. So,
yeah.
Either way, we haven't actually seen like a creep harass besides that one Harpy. Ooh. Oh.
Its Prophet goes down on the top lane. Van helping out his buddy there, and it looks like they may actually come up for the push here. I'm a little surprised at how frequently people are missing from mid, but all in all, that's helping out Resolution, get some more farm in, and he's gonna just try to push as hard as he can.
Oh, man, he is so far behind. Yeah. Only 28 last hits. That's what happens. You get pressured and your creep sacrifice. So,
I mean, but for Resolution, this is somewhere we never see him under this amount of pressure. So, really, I mean, on one hand, I'm like, oh, it sucks to be Resolution. On the other hand, it's really good to see a team has found a solution to this, because other than banning the Invoker, you didn't have many options. Now, 1437 still hiding in the trees is level 5. But he has just been living in this part of the neck of the woods for a while.
Yeah, their lineup forces so many changes to the way that you traditionally want to play the Crystal Maiden. Like, you want to be obviously taking down large creeps every single time you can, like using your Frostbite right when your mana pool kind of regens back up to full, so you're still fight ready, but you're also getting a huge chunk of gold and mostly experience to keep increasing these levels, because right now, this is when these levels are the most valuable, right? Allowing early harass, allowing early spell spam for just farming, as well as any sort of team fights that might prop up, so that you're always ready to engage, and just can't do that. You know, like, they had to block off the camps and the Enchantress, and he just can't get where he wants to be.
Also, really impressively in my mind, despite being up against a jungler, EWolves are in the lead when it comes to net worth. A little bit ahead in experience, but obviously some of that net worth just coming out from raw kills, but a good amount of it being that they are making sure to keep up that farm. Even though Tiny's gone off to gank other lanes, he comes back to mid. We have some stacking going on even. Not quite yet, but maybe someday, Lich. Maybe someday.
Yeah, they want that kill now mid. This might be the first black hole. It's hard to approach this. The tornado is a good range though.
And do we have ult on Lich? Okay, here comes the tornado. Lich trying to get back on close. There's gonna be a nice avalanche. It stuns out 3 of them. Vandal silenced up. There is the black hole. They should be able to immediately get the Lich calls up, but they've already lost the Tiny. There goes the bouncing black hole. Oh no, they don't have to come back. 1437, he's going to survive. No, he's not. Slaughter says going back in. There's a tossed out creep. Slithering Crush gonna get another kill, and 3 already dead. Buyback on Tiny for that though, so they're gonna put him further and further behind on his blink dagger. He needs to get another kill out on this, but Resolution deep under his tower with both the ice wall at the ready, and he could invoke up Cold Snap. I don't think they're going to chase. All in all, a little bit of a positive exchange for DC.
Yeah, that buyback. I'm not sure. I guess it did help secure some of those kills, so it's hard to tell really, but
he ended up about where he was on gold as well, because he did get kill involvement for that last one. The other big question though is, of course, they use the black hole. This does give a window for EWolves to feel very non-pressured when they push.
Yeah, it's also, it kind of delays your own chance to push, right? It's a lot of your counter initiation gone.
Okay, Slithering Curse onto the backlands. Resolution gonna be stunned out there. Boba now taking a lot of impetus damage. Drum's gonna be popped, trying to help them get away. A Cold Snap coming out on Ewo though. I think he's gonna just walk it off. He is already so tanky. Just that omelet giving him so much armor.
Yeah, I guess, like, what does he have to fear? Midnight Pulse and maybe Treants when it comes to, like, kind of the armlet toggling? There's not too much. There's not a lot of, like, that instant damage, you know what I mean? It's all pretty telegraphed in the terms of right-clicks coming out. Maybe a Sunstrike, I guess, if he's not paying, you know, getting a really sneaky one from Resolution. If he eventually gets some points out of the X-Sort. We'll see.
Yeah, I really like, as you mentioned, going for this omelet has helped them out. He probably could not have played so aggressively there with just the blink, and now he's close to having the blink back up, so best of both worlds. Meanwhile, Tusk sitting on some mana boots. We haven't talked about Smash, but he does have the Dragon Lance already up. Oh, and not gonna find the kill onto Bulb. Oh, does he retreat? Rock throw? Not gonna get that off. Smash just gets to return to farming.
I always just gone like full It's like I'm just getting Mask of Madness. You know, you guys are just gonna have to guard me with your lives. I mean, I'm already dead. I might as well go for the Mask of Madness. He'll probably end up going for that Dragon Lance as well as you were just talking about there. I think it would be pretty viable on the draft this game, to be honest. He needs as much distance as possible.
So you say that you go the Mask of Madness because the moment they get on top of you, you're dead anyway. I don't disagree with you. I just think it's really scary because this Drow is incredibly squishy. They're gonna have blinks up on two of their heroes, and you know Enchantress doesn't mind if you're a bit further away.
That's what's gonna be super comical. The second a single impetus comes his way, like what do you even do? You have to like run towards the Enchantress or you're just gonna die.
Mask of Madness, run towards her as fast as you can. I think is the play. So, meanwhile, in mid, they're looking for a kill. They're probably going to trade towers here. They could actually go up, probably not safe to defend. They're going to get the kill onto the Enigma, bringing him down quickly. MSS dead. And does this push continue for EWolves?
I don't think they need to. Like, there's no pressure for them. They have the kill potential, you know? Like, the blink's up on Van. And I'm sure that blink must be almost done here for EWolves. Yeah, it is done. So
both of them.
They're just like, they don't need to push. They just want to get kills. And if there happens to be a tower in the way, they'll take it down. But the pressure, I think, right now is on DC to be like, all right, we just got one tower. We did it. Let's see if we can get some more. Oh, this vision on Aoi.
Oh, yeah. Just casual Lich ulti and the impetus hits, even though you're standing right next to her. More than enough damage to bring her down. Oh, that ward doing massive amounts of work. Nature's Prophet actually TPing back up to top, trying to see what he can find, but they're in trouble. I mean, you're far behind with a Drow lineup. How do you get back into this one, Moppax?
Well, they'll have the mech up soon from MSS. That might be the play. Honestly, the hero you look towards in Invoker Bubble is just, so close to death. It's like 5 HP.
Oh, not nearly going to be long enough. No need even for me to get excited there. Slaughter still looking for a jump, but that's not happening. So.
Yeah, Bubble knowing they have vision, obviously. Just gonna make the smart TP home, but look at the space and the pressure they gets onto the top lane too. And Smash, then they finally has the creeps. It's like a whole different game, you know?
Yeah.
Got the Unholy Aura rocking. Can throw some creep spam, the shockwave. I don't know. It's on resolution, to answer your previous question before that happened. It's just like, you have to look towards him to kind of go for this game, because he's the one that controls all the AoE. That's the kind of stuff you look towards your bigger game comebacks, and with the way they shut him down, it's just so difficult.
He's gone for a 4-star, trying to make sure that he's movable, very mobile against things like the Avalanche and the Slithering Crush coming out. It just doesn't feel like it's enough, to be honest, though.
Oh man, this lineup just works so well in so many different ways. We got easy the Roshan is just between the Amplified damage and the ice armor.
EWolves have drafted exceedingly well here. I believe Mystico was drafting, and yeah, they're getting this Roche. Even though DC know about it, there's nothing they can do here.
I'm just trying to think, like, does anything change when this turns into tier 2s? Like, is there a better terrain for them to fight? Maybe just the way that they tend to be more choked off in the tier 1s, right? Like, it's a lot harder doing sort of wraparound plays, and that might open up some opportunities for Aoi to actually get something done, but you have to imagine that their sole focus now as they start to see, you know, how the game's developing is, alright, we get on the Drow, and we win the fight. That seems to be the only scenario, and then it's on MSS to be like kind of lurking in the fog near the Drow and be like, all right, come on, let's do this. I'm gonna hit this black hole, we're gonna win, it's gonna be great. You know, 1437 is gonna press R. The dream.
Despite having a lot of space in the early minutes of the game in the jungle, MSS still doesn't even have a mech. You know, he's been caught out a number of times. All of these blinks doing a lot of work. Tiny actually just casually farming up a storm. He almost has an Aghanim Scepter, 800 gold away from that. I mean, Van is huge.
Yeah, they have no other drums. Just a little bit interesting. Typically you see like at least one, like Smash maybe getting some drums or something like that, you know, just to help out the Tiny, but it's alright. He'll get attack speed after, you know, instead of heading into that AC. Yeah, it'll be fine, so. It's still terrifying, attack speed or not. The Aghanim Scepter not only does accelerate your farm by a significant amount, it also increases the damage on your toss. So having that Blink Dagger still super relevant.
Oh, they're gonna manage to catch one out. Ewo, this will be any kill is a big kill. They're gonna burn the Aegis on him. The rest of his team trying to come in. Can they find something else? No, it looks like DC all wanting to leave. Misoku actually pretty low here, but he's still going for it. Ewo gonna go for the Blink onto Resolution. Will he amp him up? Yes, he does. There's gonna be a snowball in as well, and Resolution goes down again.
Alright, well, there's your comeback hero.
I mean, there are other things. There could be an overextension by EWolves. EWolves are a team that traditionally do really, really well in the laning phase, and then from the 20 to 30 minute mark, they usually give away that lead in team fights.
That's true. That's a good point.
So it could just be that EWolves, you know, they'll help us even up the odds. But the thing that scares me is even if they have a disastrous 20 through 30 minutes, there's going to be a Tiny with an Axe. They've got other options. And I mean, with being able to blink up into the Drow's face with a Tiny Axe, she is minced meat. She has, I think, 1,000 health right now? Almost 1,100 health.
Well, I don't know, but Balda had a pretty good game on that Brood, so maybe. He's going for the Maelstrom next, makes sense. Split pushing plus fighting item, gonna be helping them out. And I guess that's just gonna be the plan. Hope that he can get some stuff done around the map with the split push. Hope he doesn't get caught out, but you have to imagine, he's just like, oh god, this is so scary. Like, he's sending out the treants right now, and gonna successfully skip Tiny. So well played by him.
Also, on the upside, even though they are behind on DC, only 4,000 net worth behind, 5,000 experience, they have somewhat stemmed the bleeding, you know? It's not one of those games where, because they are behind and losing a lot of map control when we take a look around, they're not falling further and further behind. It's just at a constant state of, you are behind.
Yeah, honestly, like, at the timing those two blinks came out for Van, as well as EWO, I seriously would have expected them to lose possibly all their tier 2s. It's pretty good that they still have two active and have some, you know, semblance of control over their map. Oh, I love this ward too. This is nice. That's one of those ones that does not get countered very often. So you can see they've already spotted the rotation from MSS, the rotation from 1437 as well.
And it gives you a great idea of what's going on in the jungle. It's similar to the early game ward way over here. You know, if you place that one, if someone uses a ward sentry to de-ward it, it gives them nothing else. It doesn't block a camp or anything, and it can just be a right pain in the bum. So they're also blocking up the Ancients. EWolves wanting to make sure that they have no way back into this game for DC over here. Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's not exactly like, I guess, just for Owie, just to make sure that he can't continue to farm up here and Nature's profit as well.
Yeah, I think it's just great prejudice, you know? Making sure that your opponents, you don't make some mistakes. I think realizing that, you know, sometimes we throw the ball at 20 minutes in. Let's just not do it.
Yeah, let's just block these off for 6 minutes, and he was even going to farm the big one. Like, suckers! They did see him go up there, though. They know he's there. Enough that they can capitalize on it.
Now, he's got almost 2,000 gold saved up. Do you end up buying your team the AC or something? Let Tiny go for, I don't know, even crazier items? Just casual. Tiny can casually get a moonshot while maybe your Slaughter gets the AC. What do you think is coming out?
If he bought the AC, I actually fully agree. I think that would be the item. It would be the moonshot for the Tiny. I think the AC makes more sense on him, but honestly, I mean, I'd be okay with a hard on EWO, to be fair, but the BKB is really needed right now. Just get that, and then what's Resolution gonna do?
Force them to black hole you because they have no other way to deal with you, or they all die because you're running at them with a BKB. This is not an easy game. Now, I don't think it's over by any means. Obviously, DC, they're still managing to have Owie. He's still second on the net worth chart. Really impressive considering how much pressure is on him this game. He's finished up that Yasha. He's going to start, and this whole Sange and Yasha is done, and he'll start buying things to actually substitute out the Wraith Band soon. Again, you mentioned liking the Mask of Madness here, because if you get jumped on, you're dead anyway. Are you staying just full glossy cannon here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same idea behind the SNY, right? Like, it's more mobility, and it's also damage, but I don't think it's really for the tankability factor so much this time. A little bit, but just keep on going with that. Eventually, you'll probably have to go into the BKB, right? Just so that you can actually survive through these team fights.
Oh, MSS and 1437 are stalking the Tiny. I'm not quite sure what these two supports are going to do. Oh yes, here they go. They're going in. Van taking a lot of damage. They expend the black hole for that. Is the team going to come through? They even drop the freezing field. I think Van should be going down, unable to get a kill off. But they will mech up the rest of EWolves coming in. Where's the snowball going? MGod trying to find someone to go on, but he just can't quite. But there it is. Slaughter helping him out. They will get MSS, but a well worth it kill. And in the meantime, mid being pushed by Owie and also pressure being applied to top by Resolution.
Yeah, it's another solid pickoff. Like, MGod's gonna find AUI.
I
doesn't even care.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Owie has been found by. Oh, sorry, maybe Owie finds MGod, but it should be fine. No Loris punch when you're silenced up, and even though you use black hole there, I think that's a good use.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like the only reason that they haven't pressured in the past 5 minutes was because they lost that Aegis on EWO, right? And so you really slowed down a ton of their momentum. It seemed like it was going to be this unstoppable force, but all that ended up happening was they got the bot, and then that was kind of it. They laid back, they're farming, and once again, getting another kill on Devan, it kind of has that same effect. And it seems like at this point they've almost secured the fact that the next Aegis will be the time when they're going to be, fully engaging again. Oh, and he's going for the full BKB too on the Tiny. Looks like they might be looking to close this out sooner.
I like that as well. As we talked about already, you're causing a lot of problems to them. I think the one thing that could go wrong here for EWolves is the classic, you kind of forget you're fighting up against the Enigma and maybe 3 of you go on one target hoping to bring down, let's say, Resolution rapidly or Owie. That could end up causing a lot of problems since there is that great wombo combo with the Enigma and even just the CM, ideally the Invoker.
Yeah, that EMP too, like if you manage to get caught up by that, that's a pretty huge impact on a Tiny, right? You're going to get nuked out of all your mana, you lose your big wombo combo, it's a huge amount of your damage right now, especially with lacking the attack speed items, so BKBs is going to help ensure that you're kind of at that point where you're not too concerned about damage just because of the lineup you're up against. You just want to make sure that you can actually land it all.
And just a little note for folks, this game just got even more important for DC because Archon just forfeited their last match up against EWolves, so EWolves will be 12-1, and if they win this one, 13-1, and DC cannot catch them.
Well, they better shape up.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing, honestly, I'm super impressed, and I think we all should be. The fact that this net worth deficit is only sitting at 3,000 when there has been such map control coming out of EWolves for so long. Owie has, out of nowhere, been finding places to farm. I mean, doing the right thing, farming your enemy's jungle at this point in the game when your side of the map is terrifying. So.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think it comes from more of a mistake on EWolves, I want to say. I mean, it comes from the fact that they're playing so well, but like, Bulba has just gotten away with so much this game. He's completely uncatchable, even though they have this blinking slide art, they have the Tiny, but you don't really have this, like, lying in wait situation. You don't have deep wards in spots where you know that he's going to be TPing into when the wave's not there, right? And those kind of things are what you need to keep track of in Nature's Prophet if you want to try and bring him down. And they just have not gone for that. And, like, Bulba did this last game on the Brood as well, but like, you need to kill him, you need to shut him down, because how have they not gotten to a single objective in so long?
Yeah, just not feeling confident to push the tier 2s without all of them. They do have the Ags finished up on the Tiny and the BKBs you mentioned. Bulba will, okay, he will spot that the Sposh has respawned. And EWolves, again, they're in the dominant position to take it. Can DC find something here in that choke point?
These first two 10-second BKBs. It could be huge. Oh, Resolution, this nice invits. Oh, it's just the Ghost Walk, so Evo might notice.
Do you, if you're in DC's shoes, do you feel that you must contest the next Aegis?
Just because you have the Enigma, I don't think you necessarily have to, because you still have like a really big threat when it comes to the high ground, like the big lockdown. I think you'd love to contest it if you can. I don't know how realistic of an option it's going to be. You'd have to be in a really good position. I don't think they can make like a cross-map movement. They're going to have to here if they want to. They have the vision for it though, so they know.
They might just decide to pressure top, as you said, and hope that they can defend this using Enigma. The Roche already at half health. If they wanted to go, they had to have already gone. I don't think they can make it there in time. And instead, we're going to see MSS actually leading the charge in the top lane. He's picked up... He's working on a BKB too.
Yeah, we pointed out during the draft, it's something that they don't have anything to deal with, because I don't think... I mean, unless you're rocking like an Aether Lens or something, which also doesn't work, so I don't know why I'm mentioning that. Like, M-God's the only one who could potentially cancel it, right? They don't have anything else. You're not going to get a Slardar Bash or something on the BKB Black Hole.
Yes. They're going to need either Enchantress has to kill the Enigma, pretty much, assuming he's not caught, or as you said, the mini-stun from the Frost Chain Frost. There is a gem nicely picked up by M-God. That was picked up pretty recently, and that's another thing, as you mentioned. They were so far ahead, a little bit surprising they didn't pick up the gem earlier, just to try and close out the game, but EWolves with that Aegis might decide their timing is now. Hyperstone picked up on the Tiny. See what he ends up finishing out there, but I don't know how much it matters, right? He should be able to melt this tier 2 in mid very easily.
Yeah, this is like the best part about being a Tiny, is you can just pick up this Hyperstone moving into your, what we assume will be the AC, unless they're like super trying to close it out. You just like dump up onto a Moonshard or something, but I just like, I want to see a fight here. It's 13-5. It felt like they had such a massive lead, and they're just not getting anything right now.
I mean, this is, I would say, maybe EWolves' reaction to the fact that they often have troubles from the 20 to 30 minute mark. You know, saying, hey, we take really bad mid-game fights. Perhaps we'll just avoid fights in that mid-game altogether. But I agree with you, not taking the fights when your lineup's at a massive advantage. And actually, Owie scaring Van off. Not what I was expecting to see in this game. At the same time, bo1 has been caught out on the bottom lane. He is going to get chased down. The tornado comes out, stopping EWolves from continuing to go. Resolution going to try to throw out a tornado as well. Smash, can he get the auto attack off? It's not going to matter. And now Resolution is out as well.
Top lane, Van's going to go in as well, because now he knows he's alone.
Oh yeah, and Owie, he's taking a lot of damage here. Where is that? Did he just not hit the combo properly? He still manages to get the kill. Getting very late on that avalanche. Either way, Van gets the kill, and now without Owie, the rest of DC no longer buffed up.
Yeah, I think he just assumed, right? He's like, oh, there's a drought. It's like the whole squad's here. I'm out of here. And then suddenly they show up the bot and they're like, oh, what are you doing up here?
Oh, no. Masoku, though, being in a bit of a bad spot. There comes the ult from 1437, immediately killing off the Lich. And now M.2 in a bad position. Do they have another Malphite or anything to stop? Nope, not gonna need it. And that's the gem. What are EWolves doing?
I don't know. That's pretty random. Just showing up that deep as 2. It's, I guess this is just some EWolves Dota. I don't know, trying to make it 21 games in a row, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's a good number. I think, as you mentioned, just maybe taking their foot off the gas for a second, thinking they killed off the drow. They put the Nature's Prophet low. Maybe there wasn't going to be any response that deep in the jungle, but obviously the 2 supports not quite at the stage where they can roam freely. And this is going to give more space. I mean, Enigma gonna be able to be just the recipe away from BKB.
And now does Van get over aggressive here? Does he get cocky? He's got an Aegis. They tend to do that to people.
Oh no, yep, and as you said, he's going in onto Owie. Again, not hitting the combo, tosses Owie back, pops his BKB, in comes EWolves. Oh, not unable to get off the Slithering Crush. Does manage to get off an MSS, but here comes the Black Hole. It's going to be turning around, and then Van just stands in it. Resolution now coming. I don't know if Van's respawn will be enough to salvage this team fight. MSS doesn't have much to do with him. They managed to silence him up. He blinks forward. Smash coming in on the backline. There's going to be a tornado as well. Van now trying to get away from all of this. Manages to stun up on Owie, but Owie's still not dead, and Van will go down here. And EWolves get nothing except for the Enigma on the backlines. MGod trying to separate Smash from Resolution. Snowball in, they should be able to kill off Owie. Oh, one more attack gets it. 1437, now the one in the crosshairs, and he's trying to do damage, but Smash doesn't even care. He's gonna impetus throw a nice freezing field. It's not enough. Smash turning around onto bo1, taking a lot of damage here from Resolution. Can't get off the impetus shots, and Smash he'll ball as well. And suddenly bo1, he's getting away. And Mystico unable to get anything, and Resolution probably looking at wiping all of their team, throwing him backwards, using that snowball. bo1 coming back in, just gonna lock him into the trees and knock him out, and suddenly DC right back in this game.
Oh man. I guess I don't know how to explain that. It just looked like it was gonna be a cocky engagement, and it was, and they were punished for it. And that whole thing, man, MSS, that Malefice on to EWO. Like, they had to play it right, like they had the plan, and he went in for this blink crush, but he didn't hit the BKB in time, and so he ends up getting stunned up, can't complete the kill into AUI, and that essentially secured it for him. And I believe there was a really nice force staff as well coming up from Resolution. Oh no, it was from 1437. Okay, he's got one, so kind of saving AUI in that situation as well. But oh, and then the black hole too. Hey, this game, this is where it starts to look really scary.
Now, I still do think that EWolves have the late game, but making mistakes like this, just giving over free gold, they gave almost 4,000 gold over to Resolution. And don't worry, he'll be happy to use that to destroy you. I mean, it just seems like maybe a bit uncoordinated, unsure of how to finish this one out despite having the Aegis. I'm really not sure what's happening.
Well, the whole mid-game, like, it seems so easy and everything just because Resolution, like, wasn't a hero. He didn't even do anything. So that's like 18 minutes. Him and bo1 have just been kind of running around the map, doing some farm and everything, getting themselves up there. And now he's finally caught up to the same, semblance of gold of the Enchantress, the Slardar, as well as up to his own core and Owie. So he's able to provide this counter initiation that just wasn't there before. Previously, it was only on to MSS because the levels were so low on the Invoker that he couldn't provide those massive tornadoes, those EMPs, and everything else. And now, if you're not precise in your engagements, like that up top, you're going to be punished so heavily. It's not as easy to get to Owie, as we were kind of making out this whole time, who now has an E-Blade. That's the one way to get agility.
I'm pretty confused by EWolves' moves. As you said, it felt like they had a good lead. They had a lot of important items coming out on various heroes, and they could have just closed this one out, but deciding against it, and now they put themselves on the back foot. They do have an AC complete on Tiny. Enchantress hits like a truck. It's just a matter of getting a team fight on their terms, and Black Hole coming back off cooldown. I'm not sure that they're finding one soon.
And the Aghanim Scepter now up for resolution as well, so he's just even more to add into his toolkit. And losing that gem too was another big aspect of this as well, because it's so much harder for them to get aggressive and move around the map. They're starting to put a sentry down with a secret shop, so they might be planning a smoke. And we'll see if they want to group up here.
We haven't discussed it, but there is no vision on the map for EWolves, while suddenly DC's map entirely lit up. It's looking like Christmas over here. And it is. I don't want to say that I do feel like, okay, we're going to have a little bit of engagement. They do manage to kill off one. They get the Enchantress as well. Bulba is, he's taking cleave damage, but now Van, he's caught out there. A really nice sprout, and the damage from the auto attack is way too much. MSS though, the beautiful Lich ulti, it's bouncing back, going to Owie. They need to blow him up. Lich ulti, please, gonna bring him down. And suddenly EWolves have the team fight they needed. They do lose the Tiny and the Slaughter, but between these three heroes, they should be able to put damage, maybe even force, they can't force buybacks on Owie. You can only force it on the Enigma, because he's the only one with buyback.
Well, without Tiny, I don't think we're going to be forcing all too much. And I don't know, that was a weird play coming in, because he had the haste rune, right? And he comes in, and he pops the BKB, and maybe it was partially because of the haste rune. Obviously, that's going to get dispelled when you BKB, but I don't think he was prepared for how far away the rest of the reinforcements were.
Yep, and Resolution looking for the opening onto MGod. He's gonna get it. There's a snowball at the ready for MGod. He can go for it. He actually doesn't use it yet. He's finally in the snowball. Smash going forwards, trying to catch on up. Is gonna be Bulba coming into. Has decided to rotate from that top lane, and Smash now maybe in trouble as well. In the air, should be able to get out of this one, but Bulba applying pressure to top lane meant they couldn't find anything during those 3 heroes being dead on DC.
Yeah, so much of their pushing power is just gone too. You know, if you don't have both the Tiny and the Slider available, you can't really go anywhere without being totally fearful. Like Lich, yeah, he helps secure that mid lane, but at this point, he's not doing anything besides pressing R and giving you some ice armor before the engagements. Like when it actually comes to fighting it out, not all that much he can actually achieve.
I'm a little confused by EWolves. It does feel like Tiny may be overextending. He's very strong, but not so strong that he can 1v5 them. And he keeps getting caught out in positions like that, so.
I think it's just because, like, when you play a game like this, you do start to feel like you're losing grip, right? Like, you had this big lead, but you didn't pressure anything, and you start to talk, and you're like, okay, they're pushing it over here, we need to smoke up, and maybe someone's like, oh, I'm almost done this item, I'm almost done this item, and perhaps it's just Van being like, all right, we gotta go, we gotta force a fight, guys, we can win this fight, they just used everything on the Slardar. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe it wasn't quite everything, and then you lose your haste rune all of a sudden, you're the slow, big, tumbling boulder of rock that's slowly disintegrating in front of them, and your team is just way too late. So that coordination aspect, it's definitely becoming a factor here. I'm not sure just like what happened. Was the early game just too easy, I guess?
Maybe also just pressure getting to them. I think part of why they perhaps didn't siege those towers, this is for a land spot. EWolves, we're gonna have a stun coming out onto Ewo, onto Bulba. And yeah, these bashes, oh no, Owie's saving him, making Ewo unable to do any damage to him. What a save from those teammates, and Bulba now throwing out the Nature's Wrath. They do know that they're in the Roshan pit. Sunstrike will come on through, but I don't think this is going to be stopped in time, although, look at MSS now. He thinks better of it. He heads over. We're going to have Tiny with an Aegis again, and maybe finally they can do something here.
Yeah, that's big. Like, imagine if that had been on top of Owie. Like, that's almost GG, honestly. If they're able to get an Aegis on top of him, because you would have to commit so much, considering the new counter initiation that's been brought out from the side of DC, to actually kill that Drow twice.
But I was going to say, I don't think EWolves, other than more local lands in South America, I don't know if they've been to any big tournaments. They've been to the Summit, right, once? Some of these folks?
Some of the players that would have been on the old Not Today, right?
Yeah, some of the players have been to the Summit, and that might be the extent of it. Maybe feeling pressured, maybe getting a bit excited, because this really is the game that decides if they can win this one out, there is no way DC can catch them.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about it, Llama. I'm not feeling too good.
I do feel that DC, I mean, just patience showing through. They have a lot of very experienced members on their team, and I mean, also kudos to Resolution, right? Playing from such a deficit, what, 29 lost hits 9 minutes in?
Yeah, generally, you know, like half what he's used to.
So, really well played there. Also, looking at the net worth chart, it's back down to 0. Experience also pretty dang close. EWolves have their work cut out for them. Full lads purchased up on Lich.
Yeah, that's good. He can be an aura carrier at least and contribute something during these if he can manage to survive that long. I guess he's not really a target, so he'll just kind of standing there. That's that's one way to get the hero active here. And Bulba, he's just casually sitting on like 5k gold. Looks like he's heading in there. No, he's just gonna pair up Resolution. But items, could go Necro. Could just go Scythe, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think he's too worried about that. They've been taking these team fight engagements, and they also, we haven't mentioned it, but the aura from Drow right now is adding 85 damage and so on. Like, everybody is hitting so much harder than they normally would at this level. A smoke does come out from EWolves. They have one more left after this on CD in the shop. But again, because of their lack of vision and because of the overwhelming vision coming out from DC, look at them all. They know this is happening.
I mean, when Masoku just like walks in casually in the mid lane, there's like 4 smoked heroes around him. I mean, you know that's not a Lich, right? Like, it's not just a Lich. You'd be more likely for it to be like a Lich illusion or something, kind of sitting in the mid lane. So they're very wary of this, and every second where this is happening and they're grouped up and not actually forcing the issue is and just more time for Bulba, more time for Aoi to get in these ridiculous positions, and Bulba is just going in. He's got a TP scroll, so no punishment available here. Emo can be responsible for stopping this.
I think they're losing their top tower. Tornado gonna come out. Mid is already taken, but at the same time, yeah, as you said, Iwo, he is forced to go home, deal with this. The tower is down to, it's gonna be 200 health by the time these creeps are done with it. They actually are forced to glyph. They TP to the bottom lane. They're gonna find Aoi. They manage to stun him out. Then can they get this kill? This will be huge. Finally finding something for EWolves. 39 minutes into this game. Whoa.
Yeah, that's the first mistake in a while here for them. And Resolution, he's stalking Smash. That's not what he's going to find at the moment, though.
Resolution just has to make space till Aoi can respawn. Just 60 seconds, and I think he's up to that task. So, for Smash here, what can he do to help out? He's got his BKB, his Ags, a Dragon Lance, a casual Quelling Blade, because you don't want to get stuck in those trees. What do you try to go for next?
Probably... That's a good question.
I'll let you think on that one, because we have a push coming in. DD is up on the Tiny. Yule's going to be Yule's up. That is an impetus that took a chunk out of Resolution. They dropped the Midnight Pulse. 1437 now going to be the next one to take a lot of damage. MSS may just walk up in you. Oh, but they got the smash coming out from Iwo. MSS does have the BKB. He can go for this ban, taking a lot of damage here. He's going to probably end up burning this Aegis, and yep, he's going to burn down. Iwo focusing on the tower. MSS getting ready. He'll have another Midnight Pulse soon. He does have that BKB. Yule's gonna go out again. Van positioning like he might go in further, and MSS coming on back. He's got a little bit of that mini stun, but they do manage to break the base.
Gonna go with Moonshard. That's I think that makes the most sense, honestly, because like you're just the turret. They don't really have the same Slardar Tusk potential in terms of like jumping on top of somebody. So Smash is relatively left alone. And what it comes down to is just the amount of damage he can throw out there, and it seems like attack speed is gonna be the best way to get that done. And that way you can honestly, keeping the Quelling Blade, I don't think you have to. I don't think he's gonna get like RTZ'd here, so you don't have to like eat it up either. You can just keep the casual Moonshard.
It's also a little bit easier for an Enchantress with a Dragon Lance who gets stuck in the Sprout.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not quite as devastating as if the Tiny gets stuck in there without any way out, which he doesn't really. Either way, it's not important. Tiny I hear a Sunstrike. I do not know what was hit. But
well, look what Bulba just did. He just TP'd in, summoned Treant, and TP'd home. Like, zero chance of being caught out, but still an impact on the wave, you know? Like, this is the kind of stuff that's been keeping them in this game and just making it so hard for EWolves to do anything.
They're gonna find all of these Fungal Lord trees, though, and Tiny, he's rocking 6k. That's another thing. We're at the point in our game where buybacks might stop mattering a lot. Everybody on DC keeping their buybacks, while only 2 members of EWolves have them. But I really like seeing this type of very clean play out from DC. You know, they've done a lot of good work to get back into this one, and now making sure they have buybacks, except as I say that, Bulba buys out, so shame. I think he understands when he has space here, and he might also be... What did he just finish, the Scythe?
Yeah, he just bought that up.
Yeah, I think that's worth it for the next teamfight engagement.
It's so nice having that drought aura, you know? You don't feel that pressure to go, but wow, he's gonna go for the butterfly, alright. I guess that makes sense. If it was like any other normal, like it was like an agility carry or something like that, you'd probably look for these diffusal plates to try and deal with Owie, but you just don't really have that option, so you kind of go the opposite route. Just be like, alright, I'm just gonna force you to deal with me. I can't deal with your Ghost Scepter, you can't deal with my butterfly for a while. Let's just stick with that.
Owie now working on the BKB. So hopefully he won't be blown up so easily by a Toss Avalanche combo or a Slaughter managing to stun him out. But again, we're kind of back to this stalemate. I'm not sure on EWolves. Do you think they're really just waiting for the next Aegis?
Maybe just like a pick. Aegis is probably ideal. I think they're feeling pressured to have something like that to go high ground, but they definitely have counter initiation for this, and 4037 leading the charge.
Ben is gonna break this smoke. He's gonna open up. I don't think he realized they're all there, but they've already picked up the CM. And look at Smash hit! MSS running away. BKB up. Is he gonna be able to turn around? No! Nah, she hits. She got that moonshot, and holy Hannah, and now Owie is getting bashed to death by Ewo. All those buybacks gonna be necessary in a second here.
So this is exactly what DC had like totally avoided, right? They didn't feel the pressure to make any sort of a movement outside the base. And I don't know if they thought that they were going to catch EWolves off guard. Like they were thinking, you know, they're not going to be grouped up. They're going to be farming separately, because that is what they've kind of been up to, right? Just trying to keep the pace up with Bulba. But the fact that you just walk right into them, man, destruction.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, they've been playing so well. Obviously, all of these experienced players, but 40 minutes is a long time to play perfectly, guys, and they had a match before this. I'm not going to blame them for having a little bit of trouble there. Finally, this creep gets its act together. There is no longer backdoor protection on this tower. Smash is just like, hey, but actually, now the patience being shown by EWolves, oh, they're back in this. They had a little bit of trouble in those, 20 to 30 minutes, but they are ready to win.
Yeah, there's no benefit of them taking that. Of course, they don't really have like these long cooldowns to deal with, so it's not like they're waiting for Black Hole or something like that, to come back online. It's just more like, let's just kind of, get into the position that we want. We have 7 full minutes of these buybacks. Make the most of it. Get maybe one more item. I mean, there's already 4K still on Van that he has to spend, so he can get himself a casual Moonshard if he wants that. I assume that would be his choice, right? Just build into that.
Yeah, you just eat those bad boys. 1437. Now we haven't talked about him much. Obviously, he's like the 10th position support. Same with the. Oh, okay. Are we catching MSS out again? He
that's
pulled
bad.
back in that last fight, didn't he?
Yeah. 5 minutes and 5.5 minutes. No buyback for him.
Yeah, that is scary for them. Obviously, MSS has been doing a fantastic job of holding that black hole till a big moment. But when he doesn't have buyback and he's not up for 50 seconds. Oh, yeah. They're gonna go for the safe play.
Well, the go call's being made though because he's bought the box 2 on Van instead of the Moonshard, so he's cashing out right now. Still gonna have his buyback so that he can come back into the fight if necessary.
I don't know if buying the bots is okay. Well, we'll see. They still have buybacks. Everybody on EWolves except for the Lich, and it's a Lich. I guess that Vlad is powerful, but would you have thought here, though, that maybe going for the base without the threat of Black Hole is the better play, or do you think Resolution able to make more than enough space in the time?
I think just having the Aegis is just, again, it's the fact that if they do manage to get it onto Owie, it does get pretty rough, right? Like, there certainly is still the potential. We didn't really see DC fight in the past 20-some minutes. We still haven't seen it. It's just like they got smoke ganked, and, well, I should say they smoke ganked themselves, really, but I think it's okay, just go for the safer play. You've been playing safe this long anyway.
Yeah, what is another 15 minutes if it means that you get to travel to a land? So, in the meantime, Bulba up on top. Oh, he's going to get caught out. Isn't able to get his BKB off, but now here comes the auto attacks. He does hex up Van. Still hasn't popped his BKB, and here is Resolution, but Van with the BKB before he gets disabled. Bulba down, Resolution invisible. Not sure that they'll have a great way of catching him out. Van not gonna guess correctly on where Resolution is, and he is just away.
I don't know, they should be able to force this out too, because he's bots too. Ewo can start running towards the mid lane. His bots are on cooldown, but he's a slippery fish, He's got Blink, he's got Sprint, he'll make his way there. And the pressure from Van, this guarantees he can get the tier 2 more than likely if they want to rotate and help him out. And that just means one fight with a Tiny on your team. It means every Rax can be down. It looks like they just want to secure 1 first, though.
I mean, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We thought that they had this thing closed out, you know, about 12 minutes in with that huge lead that they had, and they have, DC proved us wrong. Able to keep standing. Van not even going up onto the high ground. Oh, there he goes with the blink. He is the sieger. Tornado gonna manage to hit on him. Tornado, Meeple, and then EMP gonna take out a lot from Van. He needs to back on up. He is almost dead, you know, getting down to 500. Sunstrike not going to hit him. Somebody hooks him up with the cheese, and now EWO, he is the one being the frontliner. Looking like they should be able to get a full set of racks here. Nature's Prophet not back for 16, and they are not buying out for this racks, but bottom able to get that one. Aui's Earthblade coming out too late to stop Van from smacking it, and now there they go onto the bottom lane. They need to do something here. 5 seconds. Nature's Prophet will be up. They have the black hole.
Oh, they actually
smoke up. Look, they're going for it. There's going to be a tornado. It doesn't hit on enough to set up a beautiful black hole, and Smash, he's actually trading super far in the front. He does end up having the cheese. There's going to be more impetus hits going out onto Aoi. He's going to get hit by that one a lot. They will burn the agent, but MSS, he's down again. No buyback on that hero, and there they go. Bulba, he's taking a lot of damage here, and jumping right up in the front lines, and this might just be the GG. They cannot take the racks in top. They can certainly finish off this one in bottom and go to work on that tier 2 top. And do you think DC's lineup is one? Okay, you need to be careful there, 1437. EWO jumping in. I think EWO may have sacrificed his life. Van in a lot of trouble too. Freezing Field going to be stopped there. Oh, they'll get Van and EWO. EWO very low here. The auto attacks, the missed chance. He's going to finally fall. EWO does manage to get out, but whew. 2 racks down, and can DC's lineup withstand that?
I mean, you just need, what is it, the old Mjolnir and the Agnem Scepter Drow, right? Isn't that what this hero's made for now?
Yeah.
I've got to see a couple games, just like the complete and utter splinter shot, so...
Has it won any competitive games yet?
Every time I've seen it, they were like crazy ahead, so I haven't seen like a super mega creep comeback with it yet.
And with that, DC, they've done such a good job of getting the net worth graph actually back in their favor. They're now over 20,000 net worth behind, 20,000 experience. They need a 5-man black hole twice. I think that's where we are.
Yeah, and the problem was that you're looking at that fight and you're like, they're smoking up, they're looking for that good moment, that opportunity, but like MSS doesn't have a blink. He just does not have the farm that's required, and it's a little surprising, right? Because it does seem like there was this moment where they had kind of secured the map back. There was this possibility for the push, and you would think that Enigma might be able to get that achieved, but maybe it's just the fact that there's a lot of pressure on Bulba to keep these lanes pushed, so it's not often that the waves and the creep are actually that close to him. So it's harder for him to achieve the normal net worth that you're expecting in terms of, you know, split pushing out these side lanes with a little bit of space, and man, they needed that blink though.
Yeah, I think a part of the other issue being, of course, a lot of weight being put on Resolution's shoulders. You already mentioned this, but because of the lack of the blink, they were needing a tornado that would have, you know, set up a black hole there, and that's just so much to ask of an Invoker. He's almost got an Octarine. They're actually doing a really great job of keeping these lanes pushed out. But yeah, I just don't know what is. I mean, EWolves, they could make it close again. They did that earlier. It looks like they might be looking for a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, you know they're going to be probably getting some sort of a deep push before they can make any sort of a movement here from DC. You have to think like creeps need to be, you know, getting in these deeper areas, and Bulba, he's done his work in the other 2 lanes. Evo's just waiting like somebody's going to show up here. Man.
I have
Where
to
are my
say,
buddies?
I wouldn't be disappointed if Bulba went for the Ags next, just to try to keep making sure everything stays pressured out, but he's somewhat committed to this kind of fighting build, so they may decide to just keep going down that path and hope that they can win a team fight. Unfortunately, with the state of buybacks and just the state of the game, they need to win 2 in a row.
I mean, if you're ever going to make that massive like push back down the mid lane or something like that, the Agnem Scepter is really nice for that. It certainly helps for, you know, they're not that great at actually killing the wave, but you're going to delay it a ton. And you can even just do some big macro, like, you know, just grab it all, set run it the other way. That can help out. And Van, he is actually far out, but
This
I
might
mean,
be
they're going to scout the back end.
Yeah, I think this is a really nice play from DC, as you said, scouting the back end, making sure that they aren't just going to get jumped in on. 1437, getting around. Oh, there's a creep coming through. They've already taken the tower. Resolution trying to lead up with that Ghost Walk, trying to find something. He's going to show himself. They see him. Silence doesn't quite hit, but BKBs have been popped. They managed to land a black hole, but it's immediately stopped by the Lich Hold. Freezing Field is flying around. Van getting low. They'd already popped those BKBs, and 1437 hadn't been stopped, but there it is. 3 dead on the field. Aoi desperately trying to run away. Bulba going to try to sprout out. Is he really going to escape? save again. Bulba gets out. Owie, though, trapped up here. He doesn't have buyback, and Owie goes down. Only Bulba left here to save the day. Immediate smoke coming out of EWolves. We see Resolution. He buys back, desperately trying to save his team. What are the chances here, though?
Not too high. I gotta say, that Aether Lens, it's actually hilarious because it's Masoka's just avenged now, right? Where it's just like, I'm just gonna stay way away from these fights.
Jumping in onto Resolution. Look at those bashes with 4 dead on the field. That's it. EWolves, they are now 13-1. The best DC can do is 12-2, and EWolves, I believe, just qualified themselves. Maybe I got my maths wrong, but I think they're in.
I gotta say that Drow pick, I have to, like, it was a risky pick, right? It's already known for being a pretty, you know, you gotta win the game early, you gotta get some big momentum and a ball rolling, but picking it into a Tiny and a Slider and a Tusk is kind of crazy, I gotta say.